Oh, what's up, Dragon Disciples? Your boy Anshul here with a live stream for House of Dragons Episode 2. We got Cleezy's about to jump on here in a second. He was having some issues with HBO now, so he just finished up the episode. He's joining us right now. I can see on the bottom of my screen. This will be a spoiler-filled discussion for Episode 2. Hopefully you guys join us for this discussion. Would love to hear what you have to think. I'd love to discuss the episode with you and hear some of your theories and hear some of what you thought about the episode. And once again, we will be discussing spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it first. Come back and catch the stream later. Make sure you watch it live and then jump on the stream next time. Of course, hit that notification bell and that subscribe button so you can be notified whenever we do a stream next time, and you'll be ready for it. And the subscribe button as well. And comment below if you catch it afterwards. So, Khaleesi's getting himself set up down on the bottom. So yeah, excited to hear what he has to think and excited to hear what you have to think. This episode was definitely pretty interesting. A little bit of an episode where we had some build, but not too much build. We definitely got some drama as well. So, a lot to discuss. A lot of seeds being sown for this episode, as well as a lot of interesting things that went down. Game of Thrones really thrives on politics, and politics were a big player in this episode. We didn't have any action, we didn't have any joust scenes like we did last time, but we definitely got some intrigue. And so we start out the episode. The episode starts out, we pick up right where we left off, and of course, actually, I guess the first thing we should discuss is we got an opening this time. We actually got a Game of Thrones style opening. Same music, which I thought was interesting. I don't know what you guys think about that. I was a little bit surprised that they chose to go with the same exact music that they had last time from the previous series. And of course, the similar animations, we get the sigils of the houses, we get a little bit of blood this time. I think that, if you ask me, it's to represent the blood of the Targaryens. But yeah, a little bit different with the animations. Yo, here's Cleezy. What up, Cleezy?
Hold up. Hey, looks bad. Let me do this bad. Let me try to fix them real quick, all right? I'll be right back. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry.
No problem. So yeah, it was a little bit interesting. We had the blood dripping down as we got the different house sigils, and so different on the animations. I wonder if they will change the animations like they did last time as the series progresses to show what's going on with the series. And then we had the beginning, which was kind of this dark opening where we see the aftermath of the crab feeder and his men once again taking out another fleet. And this time we get to see why they call him the crab feeder, as crabs are feeding on the victims. So it's really kind of like a really shocking, jarring way to open up the scene. It was kind of vicious when you see the crabs feeding on the sailors there that are dying on the shores. And then we immediately cut, almost to say, hey, listen, these are not the only types of animals that are doing feeding. We cut straight to the small council. And I think we can all agree that right off the bat, if there's somebody that we hate, if there's a character that we hate the most, it's Otto Hightower. As I'm watching, I'm getting distracted here watching Cleezy try to struggle with the technology. Guys, you don't know how bad my co-hosts struggle with technology. It's really kind of hilarious. I expect better from Cleezy, as sitting there smiling. Cleezy is still a young man. Vince is an old dude, but Cleezy for a young guy, he has some computer issues, man. You hear me, Cleezy? All right. So he'll be joining us in a little bit. I really want to get his thoughts on that opening scene. I want to get his thoughts on the whole opening sequence as well with the brand new animation. Because we didn't get an opening in the first episode. I heard the creators talk about they want to kind of dive us into the episode and just kind of get everybody familiarized with the houses and things of that nature before they went straight into the opening, which makes sense. I mean, I can't remember how long it took when I was watching the original series before I started realizing what the different sigils meant in the houses and what that whole opening sequence is about. I think at first, just like everybody else, I had no idea what was going on with that opening. So yeah, so at least this time we got a little bit of context for everything. And then of course we get the ruminations of Otto Hightower as, yo, you back, Cleasy? I might be going solo on this one, guys. I might be going solo on this one. So, tell you what we can do is we can take a quick pause here, and we'll wait for Cleasy to come back up. So let me go ahead and get that done for you guys. Yeah, we're back, guys. Don't know what's going on with Aaron. I think he's having some major computer issues, so we'll just go ahead and we'll work this for now, and we'll see where it goes from here, and we'll see if he can hop on and join us. You know, some major takeaways from this issue. I think, this episode. I think Rhaenyra came along looking great. She got major Khaleesi vibes going on. Yo, you're here. What's up,
I'm
dude?
here. I'm still having a little bit of technical difficulties. Hope
No
you guys
problem. No worries.
hang with it. How do I sound?
Yeah, you sound alright. You sound alright. Audio's a little off, but fuck it. We need your pearls of wisdom anyway, so as long as I can hear you.
Let's see if we get the audio right real quick. I think I can fix that though. That's something that I think we can take care of. So let's get this straightened out real quick. And I apologize to everyone out there. How's that sound? A little better?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I know HBO Max be
HBO Max screwed me, and then when it comes to the green screen, I want to apologize for that. But yeah, man, I'm definitely ready to talk about it. Apologize to everyone out there. What's going on, man? I see you've been holding it down for a while. Apologize for that. Let's get it popping. What have you covered already?
Yeah, so just the very basics, man. So start out talking about the opening. We had an opening this week.
Yeah. They went back to the OG Game of Thrones music, and I think that was a smart move by them, because if they would have chosen something different, we would have compared it to it. Just like last week, everything that we did, we compared it to the original Game of Thrones. So no one wants to see that. So I think that was a very smart move for them to take the OG music and kind of bring you back into the world of Westeros with that sound. I think that was one of the best things they could have did.
That's interesting, because I didn't know how I felt about it. Part of me wanted something new. You know what I'm saying? There's just a part of me that I got a new series, so I want it to be new and shiny. But the way you put it is definitely very interesting. And yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from on that, because It does. It's like the brand, right? That's the music.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as that music pops on, it's Game of Thrones time. So, what do you think of the animations?
The animation was awesome, man, with the blood dripping and everything. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, here's the thing. I never was really a big fan of the original Game of Thrones animation. What I did like about it was the sense of geography that it gave you, so you understood exactly the world you were in, where the different cities, I would say, countries or cities, however you want to put it, where the different lands were, the different houses were, and how placed you were, you knew what the differences were. So I like that. But I like how they did this one. This is like a family tree that's a little bit different in this one as opposed to geography.
Yeah, and they always provide Easter eggs for viewers in the openings, right? So, like the last opening, I remember when Winterfell was invaded. You had the opening, you had Winterfell on fire, right? So yeah, we'll see how they update this. Let's see if they do the same thing.
It showed them go to the wall first, and then after it showed them go to the wall, they would go, it showed like the footsteps of the army marching straight to Winterfell. But after that, as soon as the long night, after episode 3, it kind of stopped that. But I did think that was pretty cool how they did that.
Yeah. What do you think of the opening scene with the crab feeder?
I don't know too much about that character, but I'm interested to see, where it goes. I saw and spoilers alert if Ancho hasn't told you already, but I saw the episode for next week, so we'll get a little bit more in depth with it. But he seems to be something that's going to be a force. I really don't know what to take from it because it didn't show too much. It just showed the damage that he was doing. What was your thoughts?
I liked it. I like the sense of intrigue. Our last sailor, Euron Greyjoy, he kind of fell flat there in season 8. I know how much you love it when I bring up season 8. He started out with so much promise, but he didn't fulfill that promise. His crab feeder, I like the way they're building him up because he's not coming in stealing scenes like Euron is, but he's hanging in the background. He's the threat that is looming. I like the design, very fan of the opera-like. And their opening scene where he shows the victims from his latest conquest being fed on by crabs, I think is pretty visceral, and it just kind of shows you what he's all about.
And he's the guy who killed Jaime Lannister, right? Every time you say that, that's all I think about with that guy, how he landed on the same beach. But, I don't know too much about this character, which is good. There's a lot of things I like about the show that I don't know that's happening, but I do like how they're building him up to be kind of a badass and how he's cutting off the supply chain. So I understand why he's a threat, or, why he's a nuisance to the Valerians, the Targaryens in this regard. So I do like the build up of that. So that's pretty cool, and I'm interested to see where that story goes.
I like how they transition from crab eating on not really a carcass because he's still alive, right?
Yeah.
Feeding off a living person like a parasite, and then you go straight to the High Council. It's almost like it's making that statement right there.
Exactly. And that's the thing. What this show lacks in dialogue, I think they make up in, with visual transitions and, just the way that the production's set up. So I think that's a good thing to go from that. Now, I'm actually enjoying it because I will say this. I was going into this episode, Luis, LA, how he brought it up last time when we were on a live stream. That was one of the things I was looking forward to. Like, okay, let's see what the dialogue goes in this one because that was a pretty good complaint. But sometimes if you can illustrate it, visually, you don't worry about the dialogue.
Yeah, and of course we see Rhaenyra is still in the doing her cupbearer role, and she's still not getting taken seriously at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. And I like how she jumped in and she's like, "Yeah, we got dragon rods. What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't need to deal with that. And I like this actress, man. And I know a lot of people are hating on her, talking about she has a pouty face, but I like what she brings to the table because I think that she does a lot. She says a lot in her character because of what she's able to convey. But yeah, she's ready to go to war, man. She's not with the jokes or the civil thing. And Paddy Considine, I love this dude as an actor, but maybe because he's such a good actor, he's starting to make me hate him as a king, if that makes sense. That scene kind of was the beginning of the end for him for me.
He's a good man who's a king, and that's not going to have a good ending here.
But is he even a good man, though? Like, I'm questioning that now. Last episode, I thought he was, but this episode, it's kind of like...
He's a good man, but he's a fool. Or
he's just naive.
Yeah, he's naive, right?
I mean, if you're a good man, just because you're not cruel doesn't mean that you're a good man. I just think he's very naive. And I
he's
think
easily played by his counsel.
Daemon Targaryen nailed it in the first episode. Like, hey, look, these aren't your friends. I'm your friend. And when we get a little later on the episode, I think that scene was nailed to the core with Daemon Targaryen's, his character.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And skipping ahead a little bit here, did you get major Khaleesi vibes from Rhaenyra in this episode when she runs up through the clouds with her dragon, lands on that bridge?
know, man, I know everyone's going to say it, but I really don't get it, man. I really don't get it. I think she's just a Targaryen. I think Daemon's a Targaryen. I think they have dragons, and I think this is how they are. Daenerys is... Huh?
Go on.
Daenerys, to me, and you know how I feel about Daenerys, was a totally different animal because dragons were gone, and she's the only one with dragons. So to me, you know, these people really, they're special, but they're not special like she was. She is a different breed to me. So I think that I look at her because she had that magic, because she gave birth to those eggs that no one else did. I look at her differently than any other Targaryen. And maybe because I do, I can't ever connect. Like, besides the blonde hair and the white skin, I don't connect it with Daenerys. But I know a lot of people will. So explain how you connected that.
Well, it's just a visual, right? Because you're comparing Daenerys after we've seen her throughout the journey. We saw her go from this meek little girl who was sold off to a call to becoming, you know, the Khaleesi, right?
Yeah.
This girl, we're just watching her at the beginning of her journey.
Yeah.
But definitely, they definitely made allusions to it, I think. When she rode through the clouds, she was dressed like her. You know, she's riding that dragon, she lands, and she takes control of the situation that was about to go out of control, and she puts her stamp on. She's like, no, fools. This ain't gonna go down like that. I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna squash this problem, and I'm gonna end this because you guys are incapable. You know?
Which is a mistake, which I think is a mistake, you know what I'm saying? I don't think... That's another thing. I don't think Daenerys... I don't know, man. Like, the way that George R. R. Martin... I don't know. I didn't read the books. So the way they presented her in the show, you know what I'm saying? I don't think she would have had to fly out there. I think she would have been able to talk to her dad, like, hey, look. But I see what you're saying. You know, with the clothes and everything like that, and the hair like that, I can see the similarities. But, you know, like I said, I look at Dany as a different type of Targaryen. I look at her almost like Aegon, just because if something was gone and she brought it back, you know what I'm saying? To me, that just kind of separates her from the rest of her bloodline forever. And that's
she's a conqueror, just like Aegon.
Yeah, I can't picture her like if you get what I'm saying. I can't picture her with anyone else in her bloodline except for him because he was the first one really. I mean, I can't picture anyone. She brought him back. You know what I'm saying? To me, she's on another level. That's just my personal opinion.
No, she and Aegon are the conquerors, right?
Yeah.
But Daenerys is going to be a ruler, but she's also going to have to go to war, right? We know that much is certain, right? There's going to be a civil war. She's going to have to go to war.
LA and V-Dub, they nailed it last week. I thought it was going to be Rhaenyra and Daemon going to war. We now know that's not happening because Daemon, he definitely showed who he respects in the show.
Yeah. I will give the actor Otto Hightower a lot of credit because I already want this fool to die. It's only been 2 episodes. I'm already ready for him to die, dog. Game
of Thrones does that, doesn't it? I mean, Westeros, this world makes you. If a person has these double identities and all these other ambitions, you want people to die and you want to see the blood. And he's doing a good job, man. But you know what? I think the young girl who plays his daughter is doing a good job too because at first. I thought she was torn in between, friendship and that, but she has ambitions, and it was clearly laid out on the ground this episode.
I like how you watch her; she tenses up right when he's about to say it, and that's when Rhaenyra gets the first hint. She's like, "Wait a minute," and then he says it. And man,
he looked at her, and she looked at her. Yeah, she was like, "Wow, I've been sharing all my secrets with you, letting you know how I feel, and you're the one who's been stabbing me in the back this whole time."
And then Otto turns with this smirk, and you're like, I just want to punch this fool right now. He's got this fucking smug look on his face. You're like, God damn it.
He won, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I hate the dad when you say he's just naive, like he just played himself. He you know what I'm saying, probably ruined his relationship with his daughter, and what they say. Them dudes like them young girls. Old dudes like them young girls, and that young girl, related to him in a way that I lost my mom and all this other stuff, and she's played the right. She played him, or playing him.
Or everybody's trying to play him though. His cousin and her husband, they were after power as well, right? He even says much at the end, right? He didn't feel like his house had been established. He always felt like the foothold of his house was weak because they didn't have dragons. All they have is the sea, and he wanted
but
to.
But they're also the richest family in Westeros. See, I didn't realize that going into this episode.
But that was the same with the Lannisters, right? And the Lannisters still plotted to take control. So
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this is a little bit different. I think this is one of those where he's like, look, we come from the same land. It makes sense for us to get together, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but Hightower said in the beginning, he was like, what man doesn't want absolute power? You know what I'm saying? He said that in episode 1, and it's kind of coming to fruition right now.
What do you think about the scene between Rhaenyra and Rhaenys?
Oh, hey, it's not. And here's the thing. So this is the difference between the actors in Game of Thrones and this show. So you have Marjorie Tyrell talking to Daenerys. Shorter scene. Hey, you know, I've met a lot of dudes. I've lived longer than them. You know what I'm saying? Be a dragon. You know what I'm saying? She's talking about Tyrion, which made sense. In this scene, they cut the analogy. She just said, look, you think you know this world. I know the world. You know what I'm saying? You can sit there and try to talk to her because she tried to buck up to her like, you're the queen who never was. She's like, okay, well, let me tell you something. This is how it's going to go down. You don't know what's going to go down. So I thought that was a pretty good scene. I wish the dialogue was a little bit more clever. It was just too on the nose for me, but I knew what they were going for. What were your thoughts on that scene?
I think the same thing, and I think that you run that problem when George R. R. Martin's not writing the dialogue because there goes all the clever dialogue. He's a master of that, right?
Well, I mean, Daenerys and Lady Tyrell at the end, he didn't write that dialogue, and they kind of figured that out. Like, for as dumb as those dudes were, they do have a couple scenes that work out. I just think that because this character wasn't completely fleshed out, that it was up to them to figure out exactly how to bring that together. And I think they kind of dropped the ball in that regard.
That's the one thing about the show, right? It's always going to be compared. It's always going to be compared to Game of Thrones. And I don't think it's fair because, well, a lot of the essentials are the same. It's its own show, you know? And I think it's been entertaining. I don't know about you, but I really like these first 2 episodes.
Yeah. I like the second episode. I like this episode because I knew they were going to take a step back and slow it down because the first episode was just so fast-paced. You know, a lot of people thought it was slow. I didn't think it was slow. I thought they, explained a lot, put a lot of exposition dumps, but they had the jousting scene things in there. So I knew they were going to take a step back, but they also set the table for a lot to come forward. And I saw the preview for the next one. It looks like they're doing some time jumps. So they're moving the story along fast, and they're doing it the best way they can. But this episode, I think, was very well done. The only thing that's missing from OG Game of Thrones is that witty dialogue from George R. R. Martin.
We're missing the Tyrion. We don't have a Tyrion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not even a Tyrion. I mean, a Jaime, a Cersei, Littlefinger, a Varys. You know, there's none of that there if you really think about it. And I was thinking about that last time. So, and that's my only concern is who's going to be that character? Because I can see the vicious characters. I can see where the action's going to come in. I can see where a lot of other things are coming in at. And Hightower, even though he's cool, you know what I'm saying, because we don't have that Littlefinger and Varys, we understand their ambitions. We know they can't get put on the throne, but they want power, but there's only so much more they can do. There's a ceiling on what they can do. You know, we look at them and we're just like, wow, you know, where is that character with the that isn't just black and white to say, okay, I just want my family in power, you know? So it's a little different.
Yeah, I mean, I just said don't compare the shows, but Otto Hightower, as detestable as he's been, it's hard to look at him and say, yo, Littlefinger would run circles around you, dog. If you were not, yeah.
I don't think so, man. I think it's easy to say now, but you got to look at it like this. He's in a position where he has a weak king. Think of what Littlefinger would do if he had a weak king. Would he really, go to the extent of, planting the knife on Bran and, doing all the other stuff? Or
well, he did that under Baratheon. He did. He started that plan. Now, the book goes into more in detail about his plans, but he launched all that plan while Robert Baratheon was a king. He's the reason.
The show went into it when he went to the Vale. She talked about it and she said, "You had me kill my husband and stuff like that." But he had to because that was a weak king. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, that wasn't a weak king. So if there was a weak king, think about it. I just think Littlefinger would have been, do you have to take those extra steps in that regard? That's all I'm saying. But you may be right.
I mean, Otto Hightower, you remember that scene with him and his daughter where he's going to Dragonstone and he grabs her hand and is like, "Are you going to visit the king tonight? Like, are you going to lock this up tonight? Because I may die."
Are you going to visit the king, or he said, "You need to visit the king"? I think he said, "I need to visit the king."
Either way, he was like, he was on shaky ground and he knew it, And I felt like Littlefinger, up until the end, Littlefinger was always in control of the situation. Chaos is a ladder. One of the baddest lines I've ever heard in this show, man. Chaos is a ladder.
I see, yeah. See, a lot of people, I don't think Littlefinger was in control of it. The show didn't dictate it. Like, my favorite scene, I said it last time, My favorite scene in that show, and a lot of people interpret that scene in different ways, is when he was like, knowledge is power, when he tried to buck up Cersei, and Cersei's like, look, cut his throat, saying, march 4 or 5, turn around. And Cersei's letting him know, like, hey, look, you could be the smartest man, you could be the honorable man, you could be the strongest person, but power is perceived, and right now, I have the power. He had to work in the shadows. Littlefinger can never show his cards, so I never really thought he was in control. I thought that he had to work in the shadows. He was a snake, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Otto had one thing that Littlefinger doesn't have, and Otto has the hand of the king. But Littlefinger ran the whorehouses, right? So he had all the information. He had the weak points of all the people there. Excuse me. And he wasn't from royalty. He rose into that position, and so I think Littlefinger was extremely formidable. And yeah, I would like to see that. I personally think that that he would run.
I mean, a lot of people think the Game of Thrones is really being played between Littlefinger and Varys. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of theories that people go with. But history, the way I look at history is like whoever has the army, whoever has the people who can actually do things, no matter what knowledge you have, no matter which way you manipulate it, whoever has the soldiers is the one who has the power. And that's kind of how
well, this series, David's got the soldiers. He's got dragons.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have power.
Well, his brother has way more soldiers, and he has dragons too. That's the only thing stopping him from power is his brother.
Yeah, but his brother's weak sauce. I think we all know his brother's weak sauce.
But yeah, he is. But hey, hey, he got the army. He seems not to be weak sauce when it comes to his brother. It's funny how that works, huh? And it kind of reframes episode 1 when he was like, you cast me over. He's like, because of this and that. He said, because I'm your brother. And he's kind of telling them like, hey, look, dog, all this other stuff doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? We're family. I got your best interest. And that was hammered home. And the daughter knows it. That's why she's like, oh, you want the claim to my throne? Kill me now. Because she knew he wasn't going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she knows where she stands with him. And he's just like kind of tossed her the egg, like, I'm not even going to deal with this anymore. You know I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do this, but you pull my card, you call my bluff. You're the only one who can do that. Anyone else, we can go to war, but you call my bluff. Which is why, when you say a comparison to Daenerys seems like, even with her brother, she was going to her brother. I think Daenerys is a little bit more family-orientated rather than what she is. But then again, Daenerys also, didn't have a family.
To keep with the current analogy of fight between brothers, I mean, we find out that his girl isn't pregnant. She can't even have kids. So he basically took that dragon egg and told his brother, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, homeboy? Step up.
Did she say she couldn't have kids? Or
she said no. She said I made sure that kids could never be forced upon me a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that whole thing was basically bucking up to his brother, like, what you gonna do, homeboy? Let's fight. And his daughter came up, right?
Yeah.
Now,
and he would have bucked up to his brother. The one weakness came, and she knew it the whole time too.
Yeah. So that's why she rode up and she saved Otto Hightower's ass, which honestly was probably, in retrospect, a bad move, because maybe if he doesn't come back with the egg, he's got egg on his face, and he can't pull his strings. Because something went down. We don't know what went down between Alicent and the king. We know the relationship was budding, but it went from 0 to 60 real quick at the end there, because we never saw them get intimate, right? We just saw hints that there might be a budding romance, and then all of a sudden at the end, boom, she's named the queen.
Oh no, man! She connected with him, man.
She connected. You're right, but we didn't see that. We didn't see it happen. Like we didn't see them kiss. We didn't see them.
Yeah, no, you didn't have to see that. So last episode, instead of her trying to straight up seduce him, she was just like, hey, she got on his level. My mom died. People talk to me in riddles. So she got on his level. Then this episode, you know what I'm saying, he's talking about all this other stuff, and then she gave him the gift of, he was sculpting. She gave him the gift of the sculpture of a dragon. He said, oh, I love that. And then he was like, they want me to marry. And she was just like, hey, you got to do what you want to do. So she's playing him the whole time. She's basically, you know what I'm saying, the way he looks at it is like, this is a confidant. She understands me. She has my best interest in heart. That's how she played him. So she didn't have to sleep with him because she got him mentally, in my opinion. And that's what those 3 scenes show. But I see what you're saying. But I think
what I'm saying is, we never saw her. Like, we know what she was doing. We know she was planting the seeds for it. It's been obvious since we all saw the trailer and we all saw the time skip and we know what's going to happen, right? But we never saw her make the plea for, hey, listen, if you don't want to marry, that 112-year-old, There are
Yeah,
other
I agree.
options. We never saw any of that stuff, right? We never saw her make
Yeah.
the case for herself.
Yeah.
It just jumped, and
I
all of a sudden he
agree.
named her queen. You know?
I don't think she made the case. I think it was one of those things where action spoke more than words, and her case was getting on his level to where he took it.
No,
from
but
there.
you
That's
saw
what
her
he's saying.
tense up, so she knew the announcement was coming. So at some
Yeah.
point, he went up to her and was like, "Listen, this is what I'm going to do. How would you like to
Yeah.
be the queen?" And we never
Yeah.
saw that scene. You know? I wonder if we will see it. next
Now,
week.
from what I hear in the books, I heard from the books last week is they weren't really that close of friends in the book, so this is drama to kind of build it up for the show. So that kind of reframes it a little bit from what George R. R. Martin said. But what he did was he wrote it in a Maester's view to where whatever he put in those books isn't necessarily the truth. So
Right.
anything they put on the screen could be the actual truth and kind of take away from what they said. So I actually like that point of view in that regard too as well.
Yeah, I think it's a nice change, right? That extra context of tension. So it's never. Listen, you can't overdo tension. Just look at Jeff Loeb superhero TV shows on Netflix, right? But
What shows are those?
like, look at Hellstrom. Look at any of the Marvel TV shows. Jessica Jones, which was so good in season 1, but season 2. It's just whenever they have a pause or a lull and they want to keep you tuned in, they just throw in extra tension. They have their supporting characters get in an argument. They have shit blow up.
Yeah.
They have trauma pop up. That's just the way that the hook is always to keep you in. But Game of Thrones hasn't done that. They planted the seeds for this tension from the very beginning. And it's been very well done. And as long as you do it well, and as long as you slow burn it, tension's never a bad thing, right? It just adds layers to the story. So, what were some other highlights for you for this episode?
Well, I mean, another thing I like how at the end you're seeing the lines being drawn and who's going to be on whose side. I liked how Sea Snake went to Daemon Targaryen. Even Daemon Targaryen, he's like, I always thought we were alike. He's like, oh, so you're the brother of a king? He's like, no, but you know what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
People didn't respect us. We had to get it ourselves. So you see the lines that are being drawn in the war. Now, the Prince from Dorne, Rhaenyra picked him, so I'm wondering if he's going to side with the Hightowers because he's with them, or if he's going to ride with her. I'm very curious to see how that goes. But it looks like everyone that was with the Hightowers, that was her personal bodyguard and him. So it's going to be interesting to see how that.
I have a feeling that she's going to ride with him because I think that whole scene was meant to show that she's got foresight that these other people don't. These other people are too worried about, oh, look, hey, this dude is from this family and we have to keep the relationships going. And she's like, nah, these are supposed to be my dad's bodyguards. How are you going to have my dad's bodyguards that have never been in a battle? That's stupid, fam. We're choosing this guy. And so I think I think what we're seeing from her, or what they want to see is, listen, this chick could rule. They're not going to give her the chance, but she could be a good ruler. And so I think we're going to see that play out, and a lot of choices she makes wind up being the good ones. Unfortunately, she's probably going to go the way of Robb Stark, who made all the right choices until he made the one bad one, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the way they're going to play her. But yeah, so from that standpoint, I think when she chose him, they're going to show that, hey, her intuition's right on. She was right about this guy. He's going to ride with her.
So what did you think about her constantly interrupting the council meetings?
I think once again, I think that's the same thing where she's listening to things and her intuition is saying, y'all being stupid.
Yeah.
And she can't help herself but just pop off and be like, what are y'all thinking? Like, I want to sit here and not say anything, but y'all are dumb. Y'all are dumb as hell. And so I'm just going to say what I need to say,
Yeah, she was like, we got dragons. Like, wow, why are you letting this dude even survive right now? You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with that. But if you really think about it, man, this episode, it moved fast, man. It moved fast. Like, you had the Sea Snake opening. You had the council about the Sea Snake. Where did it go from there? You had the Hightower girl, and then the dad, and then, while he's talking to her, the Hightower dude comes in, like, the thing with the egg, and they come back. So there wasn't too much moving parts or, different locations. And that's another thing. There's not that many different locations in this show. And it seems smaller. It's grander in scope, so the production's bigger. The clothes look better. The cameras are better. The dragons are better. You know what I'm saying? They went to Dragonstone. But as far as scope and scale of what the actual story is, it's kind of condensed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I wonder how many seasons they're going to do or how many seasons they have planned.
They said they're going to do about 2 or 3 on this story alone.
Okay.
It's going to be, and then it's going to be an anthology. And then they're trying to figure out, because season 2 just got approved earlier this week. So then they're going to try to figure out what they're going to do. They don't know if they're going to do Robert's Rebellion or if they're going to do Aegon's Conquest. But what I personally think they're trying to set up, man, is the Jon Snow show. And because of the Daenerys thing, since you said that, call back to Daenerys. Since the first scroll that we saw on this show was Daenerys, I think they're going to bring Daenerys back, and I think they're going to do something with Game of Thrones with Daenerys and Jon Snow. I think that's what this whole setup is. I think that's
interesting.
What it is, man. I would have never said that.
Well, Emilia Clarke's health isn't the best, so that's the one problem, real world problem I see with that theory. You know,
it isn't, but she's still in projects. Shit, she's still making movies. She wrote a comic book. She's got things coming out.
I would love to see her back. So, I don't
she ain't slowing down. She's not slowing down at all, man. But I don't know how I feel about that, man. I would love to see her back, but I wouldn't love to see her killed. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like how I feel about how I feel about Jon Snow, man. It's just like
he killed your girl. Of course, you feel some type of way.
Even before that, he was just like the most black and white character that there was in Game of Thrones. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everyone else had layers. He didn't really have a layer to me. He's just like, oh, I'm the good guy who's going to solve everything. You know what I mean? So, How many times have I said you know what I mean today?
Hey, we're vamping. It's all good. Listen, man. I think the it's been done really well, and I think it's funny because where we were at the end of season 8, everybody was disappointed. Everybody was angry. Nobody was interested in this show. In fact, there was another show that they canceled before this project. I forgot what project that was, but remember there was supposed to be another Game of Thrones show. And it got canceled. And then when this one started back up, it was almost like, well, we'll see if it happens. Because at this point, Game of Thrones might just be damaged goods. And in the span of 2 episodes, they've fixed that. As long as they don't mess it up, they've saved this franchise. So good on them.
You know what's funny about this is so the names that don't say their names, the names that won't be mentioned. You know what I'm talking about, and anyone on YouTube knows.
DB Weiss and
No. YouTubers.
Okay, gotcha.
So the smaller people, the people with the small channels on that YouTube group, are hating on the show. But the dudes who really blew up off of their hatred and stuff like that, I watched some of their reviews of the show, and this is their response: like, man, I wanted to hate it. I can't hate it, but I can't recommend it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. It's kind of like how you were. Like I got to see how this plays out, but they have nothing negative to say about it, which is very interesting to me. So lets me know that it's like everyone else. They sucked this all back in. It's just he just created a genius world, a genius lore, to where the possibilities are infinite. And as long as you don't have 2 idiots who would rather, I don't know what they were thinking, dude. Like the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. They could have handled the writing duties to someone else. They could have did anything they wanted to do. It's got to be more than ego, man. I'm starting to think that HBO paid them off to take a check, and they just said, "Hey, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense that you would tarnish a legacy like that, right? It's like Tom Brady picking the worst team in the NFL after retiring, and say, "I'll go play there," when I know I'm not going to be able to do crap because the team's horrible, right?
Or Tom Brady getting caught like blatantly cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like blatantly buying plays. You know what I'm saying? The most ridiculous type of cheating you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like him betting on games, or, throwing a game and betting on it. The most ridiculous thing that you could think Tom Brady could do is what they did. Something happened, bro. How can you go from chaos is a ladder? They said that's not even in the books, Anshul. They wrote that. That comes from D&D. So I'm being dead serious. So how do you go from that to what we got? That's insanity.
Yeah, just because you got impatient, just because you were ready to move on, I just don't get it. Because you just had to go 2 more years. It would have wrapped up this year, kick right into House of Dragon. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it was better. But here's the thing: they took a year off. From 7 to season 8 was a 2-year hiatus. So it's not like they were like, "Oh, we need the time to recover." It doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is it doesn't make sense because basically, if they do it right, and we all say that everybody said this. We're not alone in this. They had the right pieces. Danny flipping would have been genius if they had just done it right and paced
that would have been the greatest character arc of all time. Of
right.
all time. Of all time.
100%. We got robbed of that. We got robbed of the most brilliant character arc ever. Right? And think about it. If they had done it right, there is no jobs those dudes aren't being offered. Period. They can take whatever job they want. Period.
Yeah. But like I said, man, I think that they got caught up in like when Arya started killing the Night King. I think I think they looked at it, and I don't want people to get upset, but I think they looked at it like she's not going to get that many more opportunities like this before. You know what I'm saying? In the future, let's give it to her. And I've always said this. Ever since the Sansa Stark and Ramsay Bolton scene, that's when the show changed for me. I saw the shift. Then from that moment on, Sansa was just genius. He was like, dude, come on. Like, I don't want to talk about that, man. It just makes me mad, man. It just makes me mad.
Well, I do want to keep talking about it, so we're going to keep talking about it because Sansa, listen. Sansa, they planted the seeds for that in the book. Now, they did it a little bit differently, right? Sansa doesn't go through the type of torment she does in the show in the book. And you know what? I mean, I could talk myself into saying how that's a little bit better for her character arc if she's going to become this kind of cold, calculating individual to go through some real trauma.
But she wasn't cold and calculating. This thing in the show. Think about it. When Ramsay, when they had the Battle of the Bastards, she's like, oh my God, we can't beat him. He's like, I don't have more soldiers. And she's just like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. And then she calls Littlefinger behind his back and gets half his army decimated, and he almost got killed if he didn't have the plot armor. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. All she had to do was say, hey, we got the Veil. Who knows? They could have got Rickon Stark back. You know what I'm saying? They could have got their brother back. In my opinion, she got her brother killed. Because we don't know what could happen, because they would have been outnumbered. The Karstocks who joined forces with Ramsay, when they know they're outnumbered and they're in a losing battle, they could have said, hey, we're not going to roll with you. And then you got Jon next episode like, we won the battle because of you. They fought because of you. It's like, no, we almost lost the battle because of you. Because think about it. It doesn't make sense, dude. It's ridiculous. And the worst scene of all is when Jaime Lannister comes in that fucking castle and she's like, oh, well, Brienne said that Jaime's a good guy, so I'm going to agree with it. And I'm looking at it, like that's the worst scene in the show to me, to be honest with you.
But by the end, she became kind of a little bit colder and just she knew what she had to do, right? So
no, she didn't know what she had to do. What she had to do? Argue against the person who's saving her? Dany could have literally looked at her and said, you know what? You're right. You can save Jaime Lannister. I'm leaving right now. And she would have done nothing. They would have been dead. She had no power. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but she talked Jon into potentially trying to talk him into taking the throne, right?
No,
to secure her family's place.
You're see now you're way later. You're way later. That's after the fight and everything. What I'm saying is even before then, when she was talking noise to Daenerys, it's almost like, who are you in this situation? Shut the hell up. Because Daenerys could have just left. Think about this, man. I've never seen a character get assassinated. You know you're passionate about it. I've never seen a character get assassinated like this. She lost 2 dragons. Think about this. 2 dragons, half her army, one of her best friends, Jorah, all these people helping them out. And then they essentially gaslit her like, oh, she's going to be the Mad Queen. Oh, she's crazy. And any other character in this show, that would never have happened to. She was so overpowered, they had to depower her. And the only way they could depower her is to try to make Sansa, of all people, the person who accomplished nothing. The person who, like, everyone's like, oh, Sansa. There's nothing that Sansa went through that Daenerys didn't go through times 10. If you think about it in that show, it doesn't even make sense, bro. It doesn't.
I don't know. Sansa got raped.
Daenerys got raped.
What? No. Daenerys actually fell in love with Khal,
though. No. She fell in love after she got raped.
No, she got wed to him.
She got forced to be wed to him.
Yeah, she got raped, but that's the way it was back then, right? So.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well then, Daenerys, then Sansa didn't get raped. If you want to look at it like that, she got wed to Ramsay Bolton. It's the same thing.
She got forced, right? Daenerys. She got.
Answer.
Okay, I'm trying to troll you. But let's get back on topic.
Yeah. It's the same thing. They both got marriages they didn't want to be in. They both got smashed on their wedding night when they didn't want to get smashed.
But Dany did fall in love with Khal Drogo.
Yeah, she did, because he wasn't like cruel, and she, saying like the other dude. But it's the same thing. I'm talking about when that's based on those incidences.
And Khal Drogo didn't chop off no dicks. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Khal Drogo didn't chop off no dicks, but hey, it is what it is. Dany's whole family got him. No, dude, it's not the same. Dany went.
Khal Drogo was a good-looking Fabio dude.
What happened to Khal Drogo? When did Sansa lose the love of her life?
Yeah, Dany killed Khal Drogo, right? Unintentionally.
No, Dany didn't kill Khal
Yeah,
Drogo.
she got that girl. She got Khal Drogo to spare that girl, that witch who assassinated him.
No, the witch put him out of his misery. He was already pretty much dead before then.
No, she poisoned him, if I remember correctly.
No,
I have to go back and watch it.
He was sick. That's why she got to touch him. She was like, hey, I can kill him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's already.
No, I
infected.
think if I remember correctly, she got sick after she came on the journey because she was poisoning him, and then he fell off his horse, and then
he got in a fight with another cow or something and got cut.
Yeah, he got scratched, but I think she was poisoning him too. She treated the wound, but the wound was nothing.
That's
Remember, Danny said, "Why don't you get that treated?" And he's like, "Ah, it's nothing." And then he was like, and she was like, "No, I can treat it." And so that she started treating the wound, the witch, and then she ended up poisoning him through treating it.
I think you're wrong, but I think she gave him the death blow.
Yeah, no. I think Danny screwed that one up, but that was before Danny was Danny. So let's get back on topic. Let's kind of go to the main topic here. So we already talked about how the show ended with Allison being named the queen. Is it a queen regent or is she just the queen? Whatever it is, she's named the queen, and so of course that sets up some drama for a potential male heir. Which, did you watch the preview for the next episode?
I watched some of it. Yeah, I watched some of it. Yeah.
Well, we know that he's going to get.
So war. Yeah, we know. That's why I said we know the time jump's happening. So they're moving along fast. Her dad's something else, though, man.
And listen, that foreshadowing between Rhaenys and Rhaenyra it comes to pass in the next episode, right? Because we get that male heir, and also even the dad, who by the end of the episode was like, "Hey, I'm not going to take away you being the heir. It's in stone." Well, looks like the next episode, judging by some of the dialogue, "Hey, why don't you get married? You know, my daughter. You know, why don't you have some kids? Settle down. Why do you need to be a ruler? You know, I got a son now."
Which brings in context, because you know him and Daemon, when they showed the trailer for the full season, I thought they were just going to get into it, but I think they're going to get into it because Damon's like, "What are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're about to." I think Damon's about to ride 100% with Rhaenyra right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you took it from me and you gave it to her. Okay, I can live with that. But now you're about to give it to this dude. I can't live with that, and I think that's going to be like a kickoff point for a lot of things.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we're going to see this prince be pretty incompetent if he grows up. Because I think we get a big time jump, right? We're getting a mini time jump, but we will get another time jump, and so we will see.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that.
Well, the prince in this time jump, because we know we changed actresses, right? We changed to an older Rhaenyra. So this next time jump still has Millie Adcock playing the lead role. So we're getting another time jump, and in this time jump, the prince is a baby, so he'll be at least, 10, somewhere around there, 10 years old, somewhere around there, right? In the next time jump. Maybe a little bit younger, but we'll definitely be old enough to see if he's a brat or not.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. So I hate to be this guy. The one reason I liked Cersei a lot in the show is because, when I looked at Cersei just seemed like someone who had power but never had power because she was a woman. It almost seems like, she was jealous of Jaime, but she loved Jaime. And my brother and sister are twins. Not to say, like them or anything, stuff like that. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, careful.
But, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. But I've always thought that was a very, interesting relationship. But it almost seems like, how incompetent is the prince going to be? Because I don't see a woman being on the throne. You know what I'm saying? How this ends, no matter what.
Well, yeah, but I mean, listen, she's up for Rhaenyra. She suffers no fool. She's definitely got what it takes to be a ruler. We've established that, and I think in order to kind of paint that picture a little bit more, right, make those hues a little bit brighter, you gotta have a prince that's just everybody should be able to see that this kid can't cut it. He's an idiot, right?
I agree with that.
Just like we're looking at our current king right now, being like, you're a nice guy, homie, but maybe why don't you step back a little? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why don't you let your daughter take over now?
Bro.
Yeah.
He's trash, man. You know what I'm saying? But what do you do, man? He I understand why he did. His brother should have never said what he said, but at the same time, it's like, why are you? I don't know, man. Like I really don't like that king. I think the acting is so great, it's making me hate him, but I really don't like that king anymore.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
I think I'm gonna be on Rhaenyra's side no matter which way the story goes now. I think that I've already. That's the great thing about the show is in Game of Thrones, it makes you change. Game of Thrones makes you choose sides in certain situations. But in this situation, but you didn't want anyone to die. I'll give you the best example. Arcane, when Echo and Jinx fought, no one wanted either one of them to lose. You know what I'm saying? Everyone I know who's watched that show, no one wanted either one of them to lose. I want those fucking Hightowers to lose. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But the way things are going, like unless I hope Rhaenyra has a boy and then her son takes the throne. That's what I'm hoping on now.
Well, listen, I know you can't let Rhaenyra measure up to Dany because you're Grey Worm and you ride for your Khaleesi. You know, you ride hard for your Khaleesi.
That's one of the best jokes ever. Yeah, I gotta give it to her. That's one of the best ones ever. I just think she's on another level than all these people we're watching.
But once again, hey, Rhaenyra, we're just not watching her, man. It's 2 episodes in.
She was born with
Dany.
dragons, bro.
In the first 2 episodes, Dany was just getting from behind. That's all she was doing.
But what I'm saying is, Dany was the special one. They were done until Dany came back and got him. That's all that you're saying. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Rhaenyra, she looks special, right? She's obviously the smartest person in the room, and you know, as far as and she's in the show she's supposed to be 11.
She didn't give birth to 3 dragons. You know what I'm saying? 3 dragons who were dormant for hundreds of years, and then Dany's the one who figured it out. That's what I mean.
She was kind of figured it out. She was like, well, if I don't figure it out, at least I'll die, because I got nothing left. So, you know, she walked into a fire.
And lived. And
she lived.
The dragons were born.
Yeah, the dragons were born.
Honestly, I know your troll game's pretty good, but
no. But I'm saying, like, you can't. She wasn't like, damn, I figured it out. I know how to hatch these dragons now. Let me jump into this fire. Khal was dead. She was getting burnt. They were burning her body, and she was like, okay, like, I'm gonna go ahead and walk in this fire, and if I die, I die. But whatever. You know, I think she was on the verge of despair at that moment. And she just took an act of desperation. She took those eggs in there and it worked out for her. And then after that, after she emerges from the fire, that's when Dany's reborn. That's when we get the Daenerys Targaryen we know. Going into the fire, she was a different person. She was a person that was on the verge of despair. Coming out of the fire, that's when we get Daenerys Targaryen.
Okay, awesome. I'll give you that just because you worked so hard to get to that point.
You got that YouTube. Look at that. That's Aaron. That's Aaron. I'm going to be your Aaron translator. You defeated me in this argument.
No, you didn't defeat me at all. No. The Aaron translator is, no matter what you say, she went. I don't care why she went into the fire and cracked the eggs cracked. She went into the fire and they cracked. That's like a chicken and egg argument. The bottom line is, a lot of people tried to fucking get those eggs to open up again and be born again and do all type of stuff, and they couldn't do it. She did it. She's special. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. I just think the Grey Worm's coming out. The Grey Worm's coming out. The last time I saw the Grey Worm character come out this much is when we talk about Jon Snow.
She was the most special character.
She is. She was the best character in Game of Thrones. Well, Cersei.
Tyrion, Jaime.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really think about it, man, Robb Stark had a good arc. Littlefinger was awesome. Fucking the Hound was awesome.
Varys was awesome.
Arya was a great character. There's a lot of great characters. I'm just saying, out of all of those characters, she was the only one that had that special, you know, like tint to her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She had that world changing tint to her.
I keep saying Rhaenyra, by the way. I meant Rhaenys. Mixing up the names. We'll get them though eventually. We're just early on. All right,
Khal Drogo was a great character. Jason Momoa has a whole career off of 8 episodes? But go ahead,
yeah. I mean, before that he was Baywatch dude, right?
Yeah. Conan in a horrible flop.
Yeah, but that was after Drago. They were like, oh, this guy could be Conan.
Oh my god. Oh, that's the worst. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you saying though?
Yeah, he's done no good movies since then. Not even Aquaman. Yo, internet.
Hey, that's an inside joke.
YouTube.
Hey, that's an inside joke.
All I gotta say about Aquaman is how whack of a superhero are you when your mom comes out and stops the fight? Boys, are you two fighting, boys? Don't make me come back there, boys. That's how Aquaman ended. Just FYI.
You LA and BJ, that's not how it ended. You're like, Aaron, it is how it ended. Then I went online and searched. I was like, oh my god, that is how that movie ended. That was one.
Stop fighting, boys! I'm gonna grab both of you. All right, mom. That's the end of Aquaman.
That was bad.
Yeah, she should be starring in Aquaman too.
Oh god.
All right.
But it made $1 billion though, so they'll win it from there.
Yeah, just go to show you kids, you can make a shitty movie and make $1 billion too. If anything's possible. Yeah. No, but I know why you like that movie because the special effects on that movie were dope, and you know what? They've been pretty dope in the show so far. I still want to.
I don't know if I like that movie anymore. But anyways, go ahead.
Okay. I still want to see the fall of Valeria. Every time they talk about it, I'm like, God, I want to see this show so bad. You can't do it because what he mentioned, there were 1,000 dragons. There's no way in hell you need the GDP of freaking Germany to produce that show. But
who knows? 5 years from now, you know, the way special effects are now, they may be able to get away with it.
I mean, they could animate it. I think that'd be an awesome animated show. Yeah. I think animation would be the way to go with that show because they were supposed to be so far advanced with the architecture and everything that I think animation could do it justice. Like the people who made your favorite animation that came out recently, named is Arcane. Have them do that show? Oh,
they want to do Robert's Rebellion, but the problem with Robert's Rebellion is how do you replace those actors? You know what I'm saying? Like, Tywin. Who did Tywin again? Dude from Ghostbusters and what's his name?
Charles Dance?
Yeah, Charles Dance. You can't replace him. You know what I'm saying? You can't de-age him. You know what I'm saying? It's going to cost too much to de-age him. Jamie Lannister, you know what I'm saying? Like all those characters we already associate them with. If they go younger, well, I guess they did kind of go younger with Ned Stark, so they probably can. Because when they did the Ned Stark versus Arthur Dayne, they used younger actors. So maybe they can pull it off.
Here's the problem with Rob's Rebellion. At the end of the day, with hindsight, we know Rob is the biggest chump there is. He went to war over a girl that was in love with somebody else. And he couldn't take it so bad that he made up in his mind that this girl was kidnapped and she's being held hostage. When really, you just ate that fly. Homeboy was fire, right? And then you get killed by a boar. That's how your reign ends, you know? Because you had to be a fat drunk.
At the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, the dude had to probably try to make it, who's the Rhaegar, he probably had to try to make it seem like, you're right.
You ever see a homeboy try to fight with somebody over a girl that ain't even really sweating him?
Yeah, I did in high school. I was the guy who tried
that's who Rob is.
A basketball player took my girl, man. I was hot.
Well, Robert Baratheon is you in that situation, but I'm sure you've had the opposite where some girl's hitting on you and your homeboy, who we all know wasn't going to get her, is flipping out trying to fight you, and you're like, dog, she don't like you like that. Why are you mad?
Tupac said it best, man. Like, no matter what beef there is, you can say it's over money, land, or whatever, and when you really dig deep into it, they're always going to come down to a woman, and in the grassroots of things. So I mean, that's as old as day, man. People say. I mean, wasn't he engaged to her?
Yeah, he was engaged to her, but but then she also gave her favor to the prince, Rhaegar.
You know, the prince walked over. That was the one ended in the land. Yeah, after the tournament, I actually read about that.
Yeah.
Dude,
so
look how deep this shit is. George R. R. Martin, man, man, oh man, like this is ridiculous. The lore that he created is ridiculous. I was watching, so it's got me back into it. So I can't watch episodes, but I can watch reactions. You know what I'm saying, to episodes. So I was going through reactions, the best moments, and just the scope of different people who watched, the countries they were from, the races they were in, the genders and the ages, and how hyped they got at different moments, and with events in Game of Thrones, how sad they got at moments, just the emotions they brought out. I've never seen a show like this, man. I've never seen a world like this. That, you know, like Star Wars had a chance if they would have did it right, but that's still a movie. That's not TV, and it's not Universal. You got to pay a ticket to see it. Even though what HBO, you got to pay for it, but it's different how it's set up. I've never seen anything like this, man, ever.
Yeah, man. Like, once again, you and I were both so disinterested because of season 8. I mean, I remember, like, I was debating on how much I want to watch the show, and I was like, God, thank God we're doing this podcast because I probably wouldn't have watched it. You know? And then I watched, and within 5 minutes of me watching episode 1, I was like, okay, God damn it.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. I like the show. I like episode 1. I like episode 2. But we keep on going back to Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen,
half of this live is still talking about Game of Thrones. That's the sad part about it.
Well, and it may always be that way. But to be fair, we're only 2 episodes in. We talked about Game of Thrones after episode 1 and 2. We were like, okay, this show's cool, but we wouldn't have imagined that it would strike the fervor that it did with us come season 5, season 6, where we were talking about GOAT status. We would have never imagined that 2 episodes in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with you. I agree with you on that. So that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
So let's start to wrap this up. Well, go on. Yeah. You got something else you want to say?
What rating do you give this show?
Yeah, well, we got debut our new work in progress rating, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll let you do the honors, and I want to hear what you have to say first, and then I'll go.
All right. Well, we have a new rating system that we're working on. We're going to try it out. We have if we take a scale from 1 through 10, 1 through 5 is going to be trash in honor of V-Dub. And then 8 through 10 is going to be it's got that glow. Who's the master? So got that glow. Say the song. And we're gonna go from are we doing the 3 or 4 right now?
We'll work on that. We'll workshop.
Okay.
That.
So we have 3. We have 3. We have 3 right now. And then the third one is going to be if we don't have that glow is going to be mid. It's mid. So from 6 to 8 is 6 to 7 is mid, 8 to 10 is it got that glow, and 5 and below is trash. So to me, it's got that glow, man. Like I'm excited for the next season. Like I said, it moves so fast. That's the thing. I got brought into the world, and the episode seems shorter than what it was. So I give it that glow. What do you got? Show enough got that glow.
Yeah, man. It's just like that scene from Who's the Master, where Bruce Leroy is all of a sudden on the ropes, and all of a sudden Sho'nuff just raises his hands.
Yeah.
He's got that red glow.
And I say,
he's got that vicious whip.
Yeah,
and I say,
yeah.
Who's the master? This Game of Thrones, man. This is peak Game of Thrones. This is giving me the good feels. Season 8 ruined my mood. Season 8 is why we got COVID. I'm convinced. Season 8 just ruined the universe. It ruined the balance of the universe. Nothing was right after season 8. The food didn't taste as good. We got diseases shutting down the country. We got people losing their jobs. We got inflation. We got rising gas prices. And is it any coincidence that gas prices start going down when we get this new hot, fresh, piping hot, good?
Here's the funny thing about that. Just to prove your point even more, Endgame came out during season 8. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Marvel was at the end of its run too at the same time. Just to prove its point, man. So yeah.
Yeah. Season 8 Game of Thrones ruined life, but balance is being restored with House of Dragons. Let's see if they can keep it going. There's a lot at stake, you creators, basically the universe and the world. So, if we survive in the next coming years, it'll be because House of Dragons is pulling us through, man. I'm excited to see the show. I'm excited to talk about it next week. I think the show's being paced beautifully. We did the last live reaction show we did with She-Hulk, and I didn't do a reaction with you for this latest episode, but I did one with our boy from Brass Real Bros, Bobby, and we talked about how, I was just getting to episode 2. I don't know if you watched it. I was just starting to like it, and then all of a sudden, boom, it ended.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I agree with you. And then everyone, go to Brass Real
Brothers.
Subscribe, like their videos too as well.
Yes.
Bobby puts in a lot of work over there. I haven't even met the dude, but I respect his work ethic. That's Anshul's boy. So go watch him. And I watched your review. I like the chemistry that you two had, and I agree with you 100%. She-Hulk is a binge show. I think you nailed it on that.
Yeah.
But we don't want to get into She-Hulk with House of Dragon. We can talk about that.
No, the reason I brought that up is because I think that even though, like you said, this show went fast, you still didn't feel let down by the speed of it. You still felt like it fulfilled you. The only thing you're let down by is I want more. But this is not a show made to binge. As much as I want to see what happens now, I know that I'm better off waiting for the show week by week. And it's great. It's good to have one of those shows, man. So
exactly.
Right now it's got that glow. Let's see if it keeps it up.
Yes, sir. So
all right.
Do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll be back next week for a House of Dragon review. But we're looking to put some additional content up before then.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Until then, spread some love and peace.
Peace.
We out.